UIM F1H2O World Championship returned to Portugal for the 14th time as Round 3 was raced in the beautiful city of Porto. One of the oldest urban centers in Europe, Porto is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, featuring such gems as the City Hall Clock Tower, Porto Cathedral, and the iconic Dom Luís Steel Arch Bridge. This is a city with character, reflected in the tightly packed and exquisitely roofed houses rising up over steep hills in the city of over 1.5 million inhabitants. Running through the center of Porto is the majestic Douro River. The fort-studded Douro has had a critical place in the country's history, winding its way through Porto on its way to the Atlantic, from where the great Portuguese explorers and fleets conquered the world in the 15th century. Today, the Douro is lined with cafes, bars, and restaurants, serving some of the most exquisite samples of Portuguese cuisine. No trip to Porto is complete without sampling one of Portugal's most famous exports, port wine, which is named after Porto, where it was produced and exported for centuries from the caves of the Vila Nova de Gaia. And at night, Portugal's second biggest city comes alive with color and lights. Back in Portugal for the first time since 2011, the UIM F1H2O Grand Prix will be raced in the most scenic and bustling part of town, where fans showed up in their thousands to see their F1H2O hero, Duarte Benavente of the Portuguese F1 GC Atlantic team. The mayor of Porto also got a taste of the thrill of being in an F1 machine as he took a spin on a two-seater. The crowds had gathered. The anticipation was palpable as Porto prepared for the fastest race on water. First, let's take a look back at what happened in the previous round. In round 2 in Evian, France, defending world champion Philippe Chiappe had pole position and led the race right from the start, chased by Alex Carella in second position. Chiappe seemed headed for a memorable victory in home waters, but in lap 16, disaster struck as the CTIC China team driver was out with a busted flywheel, handing the lead to Alex Carella, who never looked back. Behind Carella, Sami Celio finished runner-up, fighting his way up from 5th at the start, with Yusuf Al-Rubayan of F1 GC Atlantic team coming in 3rd. But Carella was disqualified after a post-race inspection, and Celio was penalized for taking out a boy, which gave Al-Rubayan his first ever Grand Prix win. Runner-up was Jonas Andersson of Sweden, with Celio's Mad Croc Baba Racing teammate Philip Roms getting his first ever podium in 3rd. A 5th place for Torrente meant the Americans still led the world standings at the end of round 2, with Chiappe just a point behind him in 2nd, and Al-Rubayan tied with Eric Stark for 3rd. There are 20 drivers from 10 teams competing at the Grand Prix of Portugal, round 3 of the 2015 season. All eyes are on local heroes, F1 GC Atlantic team, who represent Portugal with Al-Rubayan fresh off his win in Evian, and veteran Portuguese driver Duarte Benavente, who'll be driving a brand new, more built boat.
We prepare ourselves for this circuit. I think we have a lot. We will push over the limit.
But the man to beat is still Sean Torrente, who continues to lead the world standings despite changing teams and struggling to bring the new boat up to spec.
we come from a team and a situation where we have brand new everything and the best of everything, and now we're on a team where we're kind of scrambling a little bit, but they have, you know, great resources, and we're just trying to get everything put back together and the way it should be, and the guys have done a really good job to do that.
He's joined in victory team by one of the most successful throttle men in Class 1 history, Nadir bin Hendi. He's used to sharing racing duties with a co-pilot, and this will be his first time in a single-seat F1H2O boat.
Love it. It's beautiful. It's something out of the mind. It's a very nice feeling.
Defending world champion Philipp Schiapp and his CTIC China team are looking to get back to their winning ways after that disappointing exit in Evian. They'll all have their work cut out for them with the likes of the formidable Team Abu Dhabi, featuring Alex Carella, the three-time world champion, and the return of a former Grand Prix winner in Portugal, veteran Thani Al-Khamzi. The young Eric Stark of Emirates team has been turning heads with podium results since entering the competition just a couple of years ago. And then, of course, there's the dark horse from Finland, the two-time world champion, Sami Selio. He's failed to win in Portugal in 13 attempts, and he wants this one bad as he seeks to reverse a problem-plagued season so far in his quest for a third world title. The circuit on the Douro River has 7 pins, with 1 right-hander and 2 very short, very tight turns, a total length of 2,158 meters.
Well, the course will be interesting. The water is floating quite quickly, so the boat is moving quite a lot on the straight, so we'll see what happens. Passing will be also difficult because there is not so much turn, so you must almost pass on the straights.
It's a nasty course. Seems to be flat, but it's not flat, and it's really windy. And there is a lot of river flow. It does not help. You have to figure out a good lap to be able to set a time. So it's not easy.
Qualifying to determine the starting grid is comprised of 3 stages, with 8 boats eliminated in Q1, then another 6 boats eliminated in Q2, with the remaining 6 boats having the course themselves to set their fastest lap times in the fight for pole position in Q3. In Q1, it was disappointment for Marit Stromoy, who won pole position at the last Grand Prix of Portugal. She only managed 4 laps before she was out with fuel tank problems. Also out in Q1 were Jesper Fors and Bartek Marsalek. On his first official outing, Nadir bin Hendi found the going tough, ending his qualifying hopes with a huge crash.
Unfortunately, nothing's working in the boat. There's no light, there's nothing, no radio, so I was just concentrating. And then I just saw a blink of a light coming on and off, the yellow one, and then I was shouting on the radio as I looked on the pontoon, and then I just took off.
In Q2, all eyes were on F1 GC Atlantic team drivers Yusuf Al-Rubayyan and Duarte Benavente. While Benavente was unable to secure a Q3 ticket, he did manage a top 10 spot. Al-Rubayyan put in a brave battle for the top 6, going faster than Ahmed Al-Hamali of Emirates team, but was bumped out of Q3 by Al-Hamali's former teammate Thani Al-Khamzi. Jonas Andersson of Team Sweden, veteran champ Francesco Cantando, and Zhang Ziwei of CTIC China team were also unable to make the cut for Q3. Q3, just 6 men left. They get 2 laps each to set their fastest time. First out was Al-Khamzi, giving it his all in his debut race of 2015, but he was unable to break the 50-second barrier. Next out, Sean Torrente, the world standings leader. He went more than a second faster than Al-Khamzi, but would it be enough considering the caliber of drivers to come? Young Eric Stark of Emirates team set 2 excellent laps to go just 0.8 of a second faster than Torrente, nabbing provisional pole with a time of 48.32. Alex Carella was next, and the Italian drove like a man possessed, looking to add another pole to his impressive tally. He broke the 48-second barrier to set a blistering lap time of 47.92, snatching the lead from Stark. Defending world champion Philipp Schiap has proven the fastest of the lot out there over the past year, and he did not disappoint as he posted a lap time of 47.75, beating Carella. Last man out, the fastest of Q2, Sami Celio. The Finnish driver, with 22 poles to his name, hasn't won a pole since 2013. The Finnish ace blasted through the course, finding the speed he needed to challenge Schiap. He did it! Schiap is heartbroken as Celio takes pole position of the Grand Prix of Portugal with a time of 47.59.
Pole position, what I can say, it was amazing. I missed free practice basically completely because we had a technical issue and quite blind for the time trials. I was asking for the other drivers what kind of the setup I need. Can they help for the setup? Of course they give some hint what size of the prop they are using, and that helped me to choose the right one today, and it was amazing.
Sami Celio is in prime spot to win his first ever Portuguese title. Great result for Stark in 4th, and Torrente will have his work cut out for him in 5th. In the historic Palacio da Bolsa, Porto welcomed the UIM F1H2O family with a wonderful gala dinner and party celebrating the sport's return to Portugal. The F1H2O family paid their respects and said farewell to one of their own, Siegfried Ziggy Bertel, who passed away earlier this year. Bertel was a former UIM technical commissioner and chairman of both the UIM F1H2O and the Safety Cockpit Committee. At an official ceremony, teams and drivers, friends and family laid wreaths in his honor, and his wife, Jan, scattered his ashes over the waters of the Douro River in loving memory of his commitment and contributions to the sport of F1H2O. More than 100,000 spectators turned out for the Grand Prix of Portugal with the biggest field of drivers in years, and their spirits were high with a breathtaking air show.
We're going to get a podium out of this somehow and hopefully a win. We've got a good setup for the race. It handles well. So hopefully we can get down there on a good start and then work up from there. You know what I mean? If we can come out of the first corner, 3rd or 4th, we're pretty good shape.
Yeah, in front of my home, unbelievable. Unbelievable weekend so far.
I'm very happy I'm back in Formula 1 and I have good boat. We'll be drive very strong. We get the podium.
Celio has pole with 2 other former world champs in 2nd and 3rd behind him. Torrente in 5th, Al-Rubayyan back in 7th, just ahead of Al-Hamali. Stromoy starting back in 17th, with Bin Hendy bringing up the rear. The last few seconds, drivers and teams wait for the countdown. And there they go! The Grand Prix of Portugal is on! Torrente falls back at the start. Celio leads the field to the commitment buoy, with Schiap and Carella right up there with him. Cantando moves up among the top boats, going neck and neck with Jonas Anderson. Celio keeps the lead. Great start for Yusuf Al-Rubayyan, who passes Torrente and Anderson and then chases Eric Stark. In a battle for second position, Alex Corella moves up on Schiap from the outside, but Schiap fends off the three-time world champion as they come around the turn. Celio, meanwhile, keeps the door shut on Schiap, maintaining that exceptional speed that earned him the pole position. But Schiap has had the fastest boat on the tour for more than a year now as he pushes on Celio. Behind the front runners, Al-Rubayyan of F1 GC Atlantic team tries to gain on Eric Stark in a bid for fourth, much to the delight of the crowds. Celio's boat is fast, but he's been plagued by fuel tank problems. Hopefully he can avoid any mishaps this time. Further back, Francesco Cantando in his 152nd race pushes on Jonas Anderson, finding the speed he needs on the clear waters on the outside. The big performance so far is from the winner of round 2 in Evian, Yusuf Al-Rubayyan, who's still trying to nab fourth spot in a bid to make it 2 wins in a row for the Kuwaiti. But he has to watch out for Torrente's blue victory boat on his tail. Behind him is Cantando, who has 6 podiums and 7 top 5 finishes in Portugal over 18 years of racing. And he's attacking Sean Torrente, continuing his tactic of racing on the outside where there's more pace to be found. On board with Sean Torrente, he keeps up his pursuit of Yusuf Al-Rubayyan, his skill and experience making up for his boat's lack of power. But Cantando is catching up with the American. Torrente hooks it too far right on the yellow buoy, and that's all Cantando needs to pass him. Torrente bumped down a spot to 10th position. No changes in the top 3. It's still Celio, Schiap, and Corella. Celio and Schiap may drive different boats, Celio in a Baba and Schiap in a Moor, but they share the same engine guru, Canadian Alex Ledden, who prepares both their Mercury 2.5-liter 400 horsepower engines. And these two have been head and shoulders above the competition here so far. Bad news for Marit Stromoy, who was unable to start the race, her boat being pulled out of the water there. Up in the lead, Celio starts working past the back markers in the race, and this should pose a new challenge for those lead drivers on this tight circuit, perhaps presenting new opportunities for the likes of Eric Stark, who's been very solid so far in his bid to push into the top 3. Cantando, a 12-time Grand Prix winner, has his sights on Yusuf Al-Rubayyan in 6th position, as the Italian puts the pedal to the metal, again on the outside of the circuit. Cantando does it! The Motoglass F1 team driver smokes Al-Rubayyan to move into 6th spot. Al-Rubayyan's woes continue as Torrente also overhauls the Kuwaiti, bumping the round 2 winner down to 8th position. But there's drama unfolding in the lead as Schiap makes a move on Sami Celio, the Finnish driver taking the turns tight through the crowded inner circuit, while the Frenchman goes wide on the outside, enjoying clearer waters and faster speeds. Celio fends Schiap off there thanks to Marsala getting in the way of Schiap, but Schiap keeps at it as Celio is bogged down by back marker number 73, Cedric de Guin. That's all Schiap needs to zoom past the Finn. Celio finds himself contemptuously bumped down to 2nd as Schiap hits incredible speeds, immediately opening a 2-second lead over the Finnish double world champ as a CTIC China team cheers him on. Further back, Duarte Benavente holds on to his starting position in 10th behind Anderson as the Portuguese driver tries to push up through the field in his new Moor boat. With 15 laps over, Schiap is more than 8 seconds up on Celio. Torrente is 6th, followed by Al-Rubayyan and Al-Khemzi in 8th in his first race of the year for Team Abu Dhabi. Al-Hamili is back in 12th. A big battle unfolds ahead of Torrente as Cantando tries to hunt down Eric Stark in 4th position. Like Schiap, the Italian has been preferring to cruise wide on the outside of the course to great effect as he moves up on the young Swede, and the two enter a drag race down that long back straight. Cantando catches Stark just before the 2 short turns. Cantando has it! Stark backs off. The Italian veteran takes 4th position in his own family-built Blaze boat. It's a repeat of their battle in Evian, which saw the two crash out after colliding with each other. Cantando sets his sights on chasing Corella, but Carella is 11 seconds ahead of him. Back in 13th position is Ahmed Al-Hamali, Stark's Emirates teammate, who's trying to push for a top 10 finish. In second, Celio trying to fend off a feisty Carella. The two are very close, and Celio goes over. That is a spectacular crash. Yellow flag. What a shame for Celio. His new Baba is known to get a lot of air and lift in the tunnel, making it fast, but also making it tough to keep the boat down. There it is on the replay. The two are virtually touching, and Celio flips over. Here it is from another angle. Carella veers in, and there appears to be contact between the two, and away Celio's boat goes. And here it is again from the drone. Carella appears to move into Celio's path. Meanwhile, Duarte Benavente and Jesper Fors are out of the race. That leaves just 7 laps remaining in the race, with Celio out and Schiap's 15-second lead suddenly cut down due to the yellow flag bunch-up. Carella, Cantando, and Stark all have a shot at nabbing the lead at the restart. The crowd is silent with anticipation. There they go, the race is back on. Carella moves up on Schiap, but the Frenchman maintains his speed and fends the Italian off. On the inside, Cantando has moved up to go head-and-head with Carella. Cantando dealing with that Schiap spray as he briefly moves into second. Schiap's exceptional speed and balance on the water once again opens the lead for him. Meanwhile, Stark gets the jump on Cantando. Cantando bumped down after overdriving that turn. He keeps up his pursuit of Stark, but he can't pass the Swede. And his woes continue as Carella also passes Cantando on the inside. Cantando suddenly finding himself down in fourth. So Stark makes the most of that yellow flag to move up to second position behind Schiap, with Carella third, Cantando fourth, and Torrente in fifth. With very little left in the race, Carella makes a last gasp effort to catch Stark as the two come around into the final lap. Carella pushing his boat to the limit, almost losing control. But Stark is not budging. The multiple F2 champion continues his great start to the F1H2O series, on track for another podium. The seconds tick away as Schiap approaches the happy ending that eluded him in France. The crowd cheer on as he wins the 4th Grand Prix title of his career. Well-earned celebration for CTIC China team. Eric Stark, runner-up, Alex Carella, third. The race results, Cantando finishing a great race in 4th, Torrente in 5th, a respectable 6th for Alkemzi, Philip Roms in 7th, Al Rubayan 8th, Christophe Larigo 9th, and Al Hamali gets a point in 10th. Bin Hendy forced to retire in his first F1 race.
It's really awesome. You know, it was a really tough race. It was so tough out there, and I lost Cantando in when I tried to lap Philip Rom, but then I had a really good start in the restart after the yellow, so I passed both Cantando and Carella. So, and then, you know, it was like 4 or 5 laps left, so I just tried to keep the boat on the right side.
Yeah, it was some technical issues and I slowing down the speed and Carella passing me, but I don't know why he closed me badly. He just come and hit my boat. I had straight line in the buoy, he was already passing me, coming outside and aiming for the buoy, but he tried to close me maybe too much and hit my boat and I took off. I don't understand that kind of driving. It's not nice.
Yeah, I was pushing hard. We was pushing hard. I think he didn't touch me. I didn't even feel that he touched me. I think we are racing hard. Everybody want to win. I mean, it's normal that I think crash happen when you are at the limit. But that's the race.
In the overall standings, Torrente manages to hold on to his lead by just 1 point, as Schiap's win catapults him to second in the standings, with Arubayan still third ahead of Anderson, Stark 7th, Celio 11th.
I'm very happy. After Evian, my team is very disappointed, and we work a lot of for the race, and we do win the race. I win the race, and it's an incredible day. But now we have one objective: it's the championship and winning China, sure.
That brings to a close a spectacular Grand Prix of Portugal, as the UIM F1H2O flag is passed on to Liuzhou, China, which will host round 4 of the 2015 World Championship. See you there.